This is so funny. Okay. No, I can't do it. No, I can. I can do this. I can do this. If anyone in RuPaul's Drag Race can do literally anything, I can say 6 words. Hi, and welcome back to the Wandering Artist Podcast. I'm Steffi,
And I'm Casey.
and I don't remember the rest of what you say usually.
No, that's perfect. I
Welcome to week 7.
Yes. I thank you for introducing us. I wanted you to do it.
I'm going to keep in the RuPaul's Drag Race thing.
Okay, do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so we're talking about week 7.
Yeah, and we're still in Brisbane. This is the backyard of my family friend's house.
It's humid.
It's very humid. It rained last night.
Finally.
It was really nice. We just finished painting the stairs too, so luckily we painted them in the morning, so they were nice and dry.
They look beautiful.
They do look beautiful. So you want me to insert a photo?
Yeah, do it.
Insert photo here if you're watching the video.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That was my jaw.
Yeah. Every time I paint, I'm like, oh, I like this. And even if it's like we're doing like a house project type painting, which isn't the same as artist painting, it's still
fun though. Yeah, like one of the tasks this week was like I know I'm jumping way ahead, but one of the tasks this week I was able to do while we were painting the steps, and that was really nice. Yeah.
The like listening to music and stuff. Yeah. I should have done that. I ended up listening to a podcast that was kind of, the podcast itself is good. The content was kind of hard to listen to.
Is it the AI stuff?
Some of it, yeah.
Were you listening to the Eugenia Cooney one?
Yeah.
Choosing our content when we're doing creative things is important, especially if we have another voice in our head.
Yeah, but it was also like, I really like, shout out to A Bit Fruity podcast. That's my favorite podcast, so.
Matt's the person's name, right?
Yeah.
Matt, you're awesome. And if you're seeing this, oh my fucking God, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
We love you so much.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Keep it up.
Keep doing you.
Keep you.
But anyway, yeah. This week is about recovering a sense of connection. I'm curious, before we get into anything, what your overall vibe was about this week, because I feel like I had my own experience. But
yeah, I can start with my vibe. I felt a few things this week. Thing number 1 was we listened to this. Since we're doing the audiobook version, we listened to it twice. And the first time I was paying attention pretty closely and like looking to see your reaction to some of the things that I thought would be like a read, and you didn't really react, and I later figured out that you just like you were really listening, but it was like the first draft, it was just like half listening. And so the second time we listened to it and took notes, I was prepared for certain spots to be like eyebrow raised.
I guess we should also disclaim that there's a lot of loud birds around here, so hopefully that won't interfere too much.
Yeah, hopefully that's the only time, because they just ran away fighting, but sometimes they'll be at the back porch fighting. But anyways,
if you've been listening to the podcast this entire time, you already know that we put ourselves in different environments, and sometimes it's loud and sometimes it's loud. I don't know.
Sometimes it's loud, sometimes I'm loud.
Yeah. But it's fine.
Yeah, no, but last week I feel like I could tell that it was like almost a plateau. Not that the week was a plateau, but it was like a reminder. Like week 6 felt more like a plateau, and this week I was reminded that I choose my own direction, if that makes sense. So like I could feel the like, okay, we're falling into this rhythm that isn't the rhythm that we were creating. We're not, because I got injured, we weren't exercising as much, we were waking up later, we were not spending as much time like dedicating to artist dates and artist things. And I think part of that is definitely because we have been incorporating artist dates, artist everything into our everyday lives. So like it's becoming normalized almost. I think that's a good way of putting it. This whole process has become normalized.
Mhm.
So I could tell that I was like hands were off the wheel, kind of. I was just like things are happening around me and I'm looking at the tasks and I'm saying, well, most of these I can't do because I'm not home. And then one of my morning pages, I had this epiphany of like, oh, actually, I could totally do most of this. Like, I had to change my mindset on like, okay, instead of doing this task in this specific way, how can I make it so it works for the setting we're in? But yeah, that's probably, thank you, the long and short of it. Ouch, my ankle.
Mhm.
Um, is yeah, I just felt that and I had like this moment of like, oh, I can like redirect myself and like get myself on the track, on path again.
Mhm.
On track, on the path, whatever. We switch sides. If you're watching the video, we switch sides. We
I was
comfort.
uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable. I think I know why. It's because there's this weird mound here, but I found a comfy spot. So yeah,
Yeah.
you were saying.
I was asking about your week this week because this week for me has felt like my version of a plateau.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like I just noticed it with the morning pages. Like I really a lot of this week was not wanting to do them.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was just kind of a struggle to do them. I did them, but
But can I ask why was it a struggle? What was struggling about it? Like just thoughts weren't coming to your head, or you couldn't do like the I know you've said in the past that you can usually like hack it by doing manifestation, gratitude, all that kind of stuff.
yeah, and I do that, but it's like
Getting it
the
started.
initial starting it was just mm, like it just the the image that I've thought of for how I've felt this week is um like rusty gears, like they're going, but it's like you have to like push extra hard. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why this week has felt a little different for me.
Do you think any of that has to do with the fact that we're waking up earlier or that like you're not doing it first thing when you wake up? Usually we're like chatting a little bit first or like cuddling or whatever, being goofy.
I don't know. I think like overall I'm enjoying waking up earlier and I want to keep doing that.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing that anyway when we're
In a van.
in a van. So
Yeah.
I think that that'll be a nice change.
Mhm.
Um yeah, part of it is I just haven't figured out what it was.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
No pressure obviously,
yeah.
but I'm just curious. That's why I'm asking. But thanks for sharing.
Mhm.
Mhm. The first theme of this week was listening. And the thing, so within listening, there's obviously two parts of listening. There's listening to yourself and there's listening to others. This is in regard to listening to yourself, I'd say. And something that I wrote for myself as a note, while this part of the chapter was being read was, how do I even explain it? I can hear myself better. Like those of you who are high functioning anxiety people have anxiety or have potentially ADHD or like I don't really know what to call this other than like it's like there's six voices going on at all times. Not in like I can actually hear voices way, but like
Your
there's
inner dialogue, yeah.
my inner dialogue is just very loud and there's many dialogues happening. And I'm getting better at tuning into different versions of it. So like I can tune into the artist version of it
Mhm.
where it's like I would like this. This feels like it resonates. Let's try this. And something that she had mentioned in this chapter was like when you're drawing or when you're painting or doing something, you have this voice that's like, try this, do this. And that's something that I now know how to tune into better because I know how to tune into that whole section of my brain better of like, I would like this. I would like this. This feels good. This feels artistic. Blah, 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 blah. Instead of what should I do, it's what do I want to do that's
Mhm.
happening more. And so within listening, I was like, I think I wrote something down that might be even better phrased. But I started to hear more of my inner artist voice, less of a voice, more of a feeling, and evoking a thought, memory, or a random thought. That's another part of it. So there's like, obviously, I can hear this little voice, and there's another aspect, I guess, where I don't really know how to explain it other than like an example. The other day I was like thinking to myself like I don't really know what I want to do, but I want to do something, and like I want to have my artist thing, or I want to have this or that. Um, and just like the thought of dancing came to mind, or like the other day if I was hungry, like the thought of a food comes to mind, and I go, oh, cool, I'll do that. Like that's what I want, because my brain just like, even though it's not a voice, it's like here's an image, or here's a thought, or here's like a memory basically, and that's been interesting.
Hmm.
That also is something I experience within, like, if I have tummy pain and I ate something bad, then I can 9 times out of 10 tell you what it was. Whether or not I'm correct, I don't know, but usually my brain, like if I'm like, ooh, my tummy feels like really crampy and gross, my brain will go like, ice cream. That ice cream cone you ate the other day. And it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
That does make sense. So when I think of listening, that's what I think of. And that's what she talked about. And that was very, I don't know, I already experienced it, but it was nice to like put a name to it, or like be validated for it.
Hmm. It's interesting whenever you share like how your brain works in those ways because we're very different when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're like sorting out more of like what listening to yourself means to you because for me it's different.
What is it for you?
Well, I don't have six different voices. I sometimes have a voice, but a lot of times it's just music playing in the background. Like you'll ask me a lot like what I'm thinking about if we're just going about our day and it's genuinely just like a random song playing in the back.
But you're not thinking about anything on top of that song. You just have a song and like blank.
Sometimes, yeah. Or it's usually just like what's happening in front of me and
What if
I'm just
nothing's
like
happening in front of
observing.
you?
Then it's just like the song.
That's crazy.
Or like
I
there's a
just
feeling,
don't get that.
but like that it comes with its own issues, right? Because like me working on like my inner voice and the way I treat myself and self-love in a way feels more challenging because it's not always like I don't have like a very clear voice in my head that's saying like, you know, you look ugly today. It's just it's literally just like a feeling and
That's
there's
still that's what, yeah. I was just talking about that, how like it doesn't always have to be a voice. It can be a feeling. That's still a voice.
mhm. But like trying to like correct or like change that perspective, it's like harder to do. Like it's easier to be like if you hear the voice that says like you look ugly today, you could be like, hey inner saboteur, that wasn't very nice, I think I look great today. But if it's just a feeling of like I'm not feeling great today, then it's just like okay, and I can still tell myself like okay, something like affirming. But if I'm not paying close attention all the time, then those feelings can pass without me catching it enough to be able to like try and correct it.
When you're meditating, does that happen?
No, not really.
There's a voice, right?
Yeah, but in that moment, it's usually just like thoughts or memories.
Thoughts or voices. It's not like I have like a clear conscious like A plus B equals C and da 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 da. Like it's kind of like that, but it's also like me interpreting how I feel. It's an interpretation a lot of the time. Like it's an interpretation of that, and I feel like something that I suspect for you is that there's like a learning curve for interpreting your feelings to understand them better, because you were kind of like, we talked about this, and we'll probably get back to this later, but like we talked about how when you were growing up you didn't really feel like you were given like even not even just the invitation, but like you didn't know other things were an option. You didn't know that you could do all these other things,
Mm-hmm.
and that they were that the invitations were inherent, but you just didn't know that you were allowed to do them, or that you could even think about doing them. And I suspect that has something to that is part of the equation of like listening to yourself. Like because you were never taught and introduced to listen to yourself, you were always told to do what others do, or like follow a path, or just like do the easy thing, or not even the easy thing, but the thing that you knew. it was it became harder to interpret and hear that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my assumption. I am
Probably not too far off track.
yeah, like I'm an extremely sensitive person, and hypersensitive in like literally diagnosed ways, and I think that I had no choice but to listen because it was so loud. And that's one of our differences is like I had to face it and listen to it so I can better understand it. And this is, I guess, my attempt at like inviting you to listen to yours because it doesn't have to be one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their own experience of how they hear themselves. It could be a gut feeling, it could be a feeling in your heart and your throat, it could be a body feeling, it could be a memory. Those are all still voices or thoughts, though.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Sorry, I kind of derailed that. Do you want to say more?
I don't think it was derailing. I just think that like it's interesting how like there's a difference, and I'm sure there's like many other ways that people think their thoughts that
Mm-hmm.
we don't really know about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even that in itself is just like really interesting to hear about how different people like think and process things, or hear a voice or don't hear a voice in certain
Mm-hmm.
situations,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to like just figure out your own method of it.
Yeah. And when it comes to art, do you ever have the like inkling of I should try this or I shouldn't try that?
Like when I'm doing a specific art thing,
Yeah, like
or
let's say you're sketching,
mm,
because that's part of like tuning in is like hearing when your brain or when your hand or whatever is kind of like I want to try this thing instead, and like instead of like I've been trained to do it this way, but I'm gonna do it this way instead.
yeah. I mean, yes, but when I'm in art mode and I'm in the flow, it's like a different part of my brain that doesn't like there's no it's very intuitive and connected, where
Mm-hmm.
like I don't have to there isn't like a gap between listening and the action. It's more of like a fluid, like, okay, this is an idea, and then I go through with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean yes and no, but I understand the premise of what you're saying. I understand it from like an athletic side. Like that's how I do athletic things a lot of the time, but artistic things are still those two brains haven't melded together just yet. They're close, but they're not there yet. I'm gonna see if there's anything else. Ooh, yeah. Okay, there's two things that I wrote when we were listening to this part. Listening and expressing through letting go instead of sticking to the plan or what you thought would appear. That also goes into releasing expectations and just flowing with the process, listening to your intuition. So there's again two piles here of like just art versus life. And I feel like we're in a moment where like this is affecting our life a lot of releasing expectations or doing our best to. It's hard, but trying to release expectations and roll with the flow. And it has put us in this amazing position where we have a house we're going to be renovating and living in, which we're so excited about. It's put us in this position to be traveling in a way that we are that's like quite affordable, or you know, actually yeah, it costs about the same as living normally, so it's, I would say it's affordable. um and like I don't know, we have other people in our life who, like many people are living their best lives and killing it, and other people in our life are stuck in the same rut they've been in for a long time. And I feel like you have more you might want to say on this, but that's what I think of within that when it comes to like the world, the outside world of like release expectations and roll with the flow instead of like forcing everything to be the outcome that you expect.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like connected to what we were talking about earlier, and with like the law of least effort, which is what we keep circling back to after reading the seven spiritual laws of success.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I think that the conversation we had earlier was just like reminding me of like how there's people in my life that I care about that haven't like it hasn't quite clicked for them in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not like for lack of trying, or I don't know, but um like breaking through into cultivating the mindset of like having more possibilities open and not
Yeah.
like limiting yourself.
And like things happening when you least expect them.
Mhm.
Like you need to, if you loosen the reins on where you're going, then you can be directed the way that, like, quote unquote, the universe wants you to go, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, like if you just let go a little bit and don't have an expectation of what the end result's going to be, then there's more opportunity. Oh, I needed to pop my hip like that. That felt so good. There's more opportunity to there's more opportunity, period, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, I said that kind of weirdly, and my brain, I have not taken Adderall for a while, and I can tell it's starting to affect my brain processing. I have so many things happening in my brain at once that, like, it's hard to stay focused. So I'm not gonna apologize for that, but
That's how it be.
it's how it be.
Yeah. I like the thing that I just keep thinking about is something that I know I've said before in the podcast of like it's really it's really not easy to shift your mindset,
No.
and I feel like it has to be an active practice
Mhm.
in order to actually make it happen for yourself.
Mhm.
And like, in theory we know these certain things that like can easily be turned into cliches of like, if you really believe in yourself, things can happen and like
Mhm.
anything is possible. Like those are cliches that we hear, but in order to like actually believe them and actually like trust in something and release those expectations, it's a daily practice that takes a lot of work,
Mhm.
and you have to feel like a lot of it just comes to like safety and security, and like you were
Mhm.
saying before about like um you brought up the word survival.
Oh yeah, when you're in a scarcity mindset, a lot of people in around the world are in a scarcity mindset, and so it's safer to do what you know. It's
Mhm.
safer to have control and to be like, like this is what's happening and I'm not letting go at all. Like I can't flow because I need to stay safe.
Mhm.
Because you don't know what, when you let go like that, you invite, the universe, you invite source in, and that's really scary because it means you lose some control.
Mhm.
And when we control things, we feel safer, but in reality it's like, how much are you actually controlling?
Right.
You feel like you have control, but you don't really have control in the way you think. If you just trust and like have faith that like you will be successful or that you will find what needs to be found, then, and you let go of that control, that's when you find your keys. The minute you're like, okay, I'm going to stop looking, is the minute they show up. Because you almost become blinded by like needing to control everything, and everything must be in its perfect spot, and where are my keys, where are my keys, I can't think about anything but where are my keys, and they're right there in your hand, babe. You just need to let go and relax a little bit,
Mhm.
you know? Yeah. I kind of want to, that might have been off track, but like I just,
No, I like it.
yeah. It's one of those days, isn't it, where it's like,
Mhm.
it's so funny that we gotta stop recording on Mondays. It just, we can't do Mondays. I think that's what it is. Mondays are not work days. They are like in the Wiccan and Western, not Western, and Eastern calendars and all these things. Like Monday is supposed to be a chill day.
Mm.
So I think we should start recording these on Sunday or Tuesday.
Okay.
I genuinely think that might be something to do with it. I'm down for us to keep going, but
We'll test that theory next week.
next week it'll be Tuesday. Let us know. Actually, we'll know. We'll know while we're doing it.
Yeah.
But you guys are getting a very raw version of us, I would say.
I'd argue every week is a raw version, but it's just like I
This week's
guess
like different though.
a little
It's because
disjoint a little disjointed maybe.
disjointed, a little, like we're trying to make it more conversation.
There's
I think
just
that's
I
what it
don't
is.
know, the feeling I have is that there's a lot of these like big themes and they all intersect with each other
Mm-hmm.
in certain ways, and like there's this like broader message, but it's hard to like it's hard to convey that, you know.
Maybe. What do you think the broader message is? Like, you think that these things don't go into it, or do you think that talking about these things, it's hard to go into the message.
Neither. There's just a broader message, but there's so many little aspects of it that all intersect each other.
Hmm.
So it's like we could talk about it for hours, but it's also very complex.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That's like a whole point. Listening is a complex system, be it literally our ears being things that can listen, be it listening to somebody else and like active listening and making sure it's like a true conversation, or listening to yourself. They're extremely complicated and they all go into the overarching theme of like letting go. Everything's a choice, even if it doesn't feel like one.
Yeah.
And oh boy, does it not feel like one sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's okay. And it's just like a learning experience. And more than anything, it's having grace with yourself. And like, I'm going to lead right into the next theme, not being a perfectionist.
Ayo.
Ayo, I'm totally a podcaster. Actually, we are, literally. But the perfectionism one is something that we both struggle with. I think that we experience it differently and also similarly.
Well, it's interesting because, again, like the intersecting things, like perfectionism and people pleasing to me are basically like
Mm-hmm.
synonymous. I think that, I guess my experience with perfectionism is it used to be like rampant in all areas of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is why people pleasing and perfectionism, it's really hard for me to like
Separate
even
them.
separate those, because like I didn't want to be scrutinized. I didn't want to be judged. I wanted to do the most perfect thing to avoid that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why, like, I did a lot of what was expected of me by like parents and teachers and friends. And like the way I saw myself too was very like, I just needed to be, I needed to fit in and do what I thought would be perfect in other people's eyes so that I wouldn't be scrutinized and so that I would like
Be
belong.
loved and belong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Do you think that's partially why you struggle with like to be loved, to be accepted, to be safe? I need to be perfect.
Yeah. I think that that's what's changed for me in terms of like my experience with perfectionism is it's a lot less now about like what other people around me think of me or what I should be doing. And the perfectionism now is just a bit more internal. I'd say of all the places that perfectionism affects me the most, um, probably in the art realm is where it is the most. Like, there's a part where she talks about in the book, like, if you're a perfectionist, like, you might not even start something, or if you get halfway through writing your essay and you start like
Editing it.
editing it before it's even done.
Yeah.
And like I definitely recognize that in myself.
Mm-hmm.
um but at the same time, like it's not something that I feel so staunchly is like how I operate now. Like we're so far along in this book that like I'm able to move past that.
Mm-hmm.
And like yesterday when we were at the beach, I did my little watercolor painting. It started out as something and then it turned into something else. And then there was a part of it where I was like, I want to stop. But then I was like, and then I got back into like, oh, this is a fun color. And then I just had fun with it. And it
Mm-hmm.
turned into something that like,
Beautiful.
I'm glad you think it's beautiful. I was going to say, I reached a point where I was like, okay, this is done. And I feel neutral about it, which for me is a win,
Mm-hmm.
because I never want to like end something and be like, I hate this. This was a stupid idea. Why did I do this? I want to throw this away.
But that's literally the perfectionist brain. Like that whole thing, because it's not those. Even if you like fucked up in any way, shape, or form, that's like perfectionism and an expectation and assumption of what it should look like.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the reality of what it is. It is what it is. It
Mm-hmm.
is beautiful in its own way.
Right.
So
But like
I'm glad.
reaching the point of it is what it is was like
Yeah.
an achievement for me.
Yeah.
And that's how I can tell that like I'm working through the perfectionist that I feel with artistry and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfectionism is not a quest for the best, it is a pursuit of the worst in ourselves. The part that tells us that nothing we do will ever be good enough, that we should try again.
Did that evoke anything for you? You screenshotted that and highlighted it.
I think I think the part about pursuit of the worst in ourselves, that part hit you more. What hit me more was the nothing you do will ever be good enough and that you should try again. That was the part that I resonated with. Also, I've been meaning to mention this, and I'm sad that I didn't mention this in any earlier podcast, but as a resource for anyone listening, the book is available. Like, if you just Google The Artist's Way, there is like a PDF that has the entire thing.
Yeah, it's a free version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it is very accessible.
Yeah, if you want to try this and you're listening to us and aren't following along, which is totally fair and okay, um, you should go check it out. I don't think we can post it.
No, it's very easy to find though.
Yeah, I don't think we can, but like, yeah, you guys can just look it up.
Hmm.
You'll find it so fast. Thank you for bringing it up. That's really good.
Yeah, because yeah, we've been able to, even though we don't have the book, we can like take screenshots from the.
Mm-hmm. From the PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah, something I was expecting you to talk about and like not inviting you to talk about, but curious if you'd bring up on your own is growing up with like family expectations and the perfectionism that like drilled into you, because it's something that I experienced as well. It's something that we connect on a lot, and it's something I've always called being put in a box. So like perfectionism for me was like there's two parts to it, just like everything that I've talked about in this. There's always like two aspects I think of. I think of like active and artistic, because like these things, like this book is obviously meant to be for, like, awaken your inner artist and like recover and heal, but it's also like all of this goes into our everyday lives too, which is
Hmm.
obviously this like big theme you're talking about, is like all of this applies to real life. It would not shock me if the end of this book is now apply it to your life, you know. But perfectionism was like a safety thing. It was a safety, it was the controlling thing I was talking about earlier. It's, if I am perfect, then I will get my needs met. If I don't do anything wrong, then I can survive. And I was perfect for a long time. I did the whole perfect thing. I did the like, I have long, beautiful hair. I might have tattoos, but they can all be covered up. I'm very polite and kind. I keep a very soft voice. Yada, yada, yada. I could keep going for freaking ever with like all these ways that I had to be perfect. So eventually I had to start pushing against this box. And it was being pushed in different ways. First, it was me getting tattoos, which was so like frowned upon. And now I have my whole leg, my whole back, not whole back, but most of my back. Like, I have tattoos all over and I love them. And I'm very happy that I've done that for myself because it's a way of self expressing. But that, piercings, like all of these things were breaking the mold. And every time those things happened, I would be ignored. I would be shunned, I'd be shamed, any of those things. It's just like when you're put in a box and you want to get out of it and be yourself, it's really fucking hard to do. And some people think you're doing it out of spite when it's actually just becoming yourself. And that's just really frustrating. So, perfectionism within art, I don't really have in the same way. It's just like if I'm doing something right or I'm doing it wrong. Um, because, like, in art class, it was like, you need to do more shading or you need to do more of this. The perfectionist mind has married the inner critic. So that's something that she said, and I have that out of context. But that's just like, it's like a mix. Whoa. It's a mixture of like shame and perfectionism. Like, perfectionism kind of is a shame practice. It's a shaming practice.
Hmm.
Now that I'm like thinking about it, it's an active practice, and like, you're not good enough. That wasn't good enough. That wasn't correct. Um, the inner critic, the inner saboteur, that's perfectionist and shame in a nutshell.
Hmm.
Something bit me. For the perfectionist, there are no first drafts, rough sketches, warm ups, etc. Every draft is meant to be final, perfect, set in stone. that was me in high school and college. I literally, this was mostly because it wasn't because I was a perfectionist, because I was lazy. My rough draft and final draft and all those things would be one thing. And I think that maybe without realizing it, I was listening to that like inner artist voice at a younger age when it came to writing. And even though it wasn't always perfect, I was like, I just want to write it and get it done. And like what I have, the first thoughts I have are going to be the best ones. The thoughts that come after are going to be the ones that second guess what I just did. And that's going to make my poetry not as good or my story not as good. But you're always required to have a rough draft and a final draft. So it was just like, it's a funny thing where like perfectionism was like, that's one spot where it didn't really show up because I was like, I'm not very good at this anyway, so I'm just going to have fun. But it was weird.
Hmm.
You screenshotted this quote. I don't know why.
I don't think it's necessarily connected to perfectionism. I just liked the quote.
What was it?
Um, Living is a form of not being sure, not knowing what next or how. The artist never entirely knows. We guess. We may be wrong, but we take leap after leap in the dark.
Absolutely has to do with perfectionism.
Say more.
Um, say more. It has everything to do with perfectionism because it's literally saying that you can't be perfect. Like the opposite of perfectionism is not being perfect. It's not failure. It's not success. It's letting go. It's
Hmm.
just rolling with the flow. That does actually tie really well into risk. When we first met, I was at a point where like I had learned how to take risks in safe ways. Like I was still perfect, especially for the person I was with at the time and for their family, or at least I was trying to be. But there was a lot of risk getting there, and even more risk to leave that and go officially over to like. I mean, obviously, I'm still like learning more about myself and like who I am, who my inner artist is. But there's like so much risk in like you have so much to lose. It's actually not that much to lose in all reality, but it feels like so much to lose when you're yourself. When in reality, you only have more to gain.
Hmm.
Like and you're truly yourself. Anything that you lose wasn't meant to be there anyways. Like if you lose friends by being yourself, those weren't your friends.
Hmm. I think that I think that risk is mentioned because it's the way out of perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the things that was written there is about like in order to do something well, you have to first be okay with doing it badly.
Yeah,
And like that is like immediately like death to the perfectionist.
absolutely.
But it's funny how like you said this like a few minutes ago, like if you already know that you're not going to be good at something, that immediately takes all the pressure off and then you can have fun.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like that's the key out of it, is just like also just not taking yourself too seriously,
yeah.
not caring so
Release
much.
expectations about how it's supposed to look
Yeah.
and how it's supposed to be. Like for me going forward, because like obviously the only kind of dance we can do right now is like, or that I can do right now is like I can watch online videos about dance, which doesn't like quite hit that spot for me, but also I should at least try another time or two. Um, and like just listening to music and dancing around the kitchen or around the house. Like that's kind of all I really feel like I have the ability to do just because of the space we're in and like the setting and like I don't know. It's just what's been happening. But once I do officially start going to classes, once we're back wherever we're living for a long period of time, I know that I'm not going to be the best person in the classroom, especially if we do like if you and I decide to do like ballroom dance or salsa or something. Like I know that I can't follow for shit. I can't follow. It's just like I can do it. I know I can. It's going to take work and practice. I'm going to be bad at it first. I'm going to be really bad at it first. I'm probably going to step on the dance instructor's feet like 6 times in the first 5 minutes. Like I want to lead, bitch. I want to lead so bad, but I need to learn to like let go and follow. Butterfly, hi. Um,
Affirmative butterfly.
affirmative butterfly for me. 1222 for me. Fucking up. Anyways, um, something that she writes is, "What would I do if I didn't have to do it perfectly?" And for me, that's dancing. because I know I'm not going to do it perfectly. And I think that's part of where the fun is.
Once we're willing to accept that anything worth doing might even be worth doing badly, our options widen. And the
Woohoo.
other one is we deny that in order to do something well, we must first be willing to do it badly. Instead, we opt for setting our limits at the point where we feel assured of success.
Mm-hmm. How many times have you started something and quit because you weren't good at it? Too many. For me, the answer is too many.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a quote that she'd said too at some point, was like, what would you do if you didn't have to do it perfectly? Much more. So much more, you know? Something else, actually, this was really important that she said, was comparing ourselves. Like, comparing ourselves, specifically our artwork, because it's something, of course, we compare ourselves. There's so much more I can say about that, and maybe that'll be a whole episode in itself, because I could talk about comparison for days. But comparing our beginning artwork and our beginning anything that we do to masters. It's like comparing myself, like my first oil painting, to Claude Monet,
Mm-hmm.
like my first attempt at painting an ocean scene to Van Gogh or something, you know? Like, why would I compare my beginning stuff to their masterwork as opposed to their beginning stuff? Like, I'm not going to be good at first. No one's perfect immediately. That's just something that I felt was really important. She compared filmmakers' first attempt at a film, them comparing it to Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
which is very fitting for when she wrote this.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like so true. Like, why would you compare your puppetry to like those who were puppeting Jabba the Hutt? That makes no sense to you. Anyways, anybody who gets it though gets it.
Star Wars.
I love Star Wars. I grew up watching that. You grew up watching something else.
Nerd.
Me and thousands of others. Yeah, I guess the last thing that she talked about involving risk is like, because we need it to be perfect, we're too scared to be imperfect. We don't want to do it badly. We don't want to embarrass ourselves by doing it badly. Like all of the things we just talked about. My shoulders look amazing. I'm sorry. Casey's sunglasses have a really great reflection, so I can just look at myself if I'm like, if I catch a glimpse of myself, and my shoulders just look really good in them. I don't know if they look like that anywhere else, but they look really good. My ADHD is ADHDing so intensely right now, and it's like, this episode's going to be whack because of it, and I'm so sorry. And I'm
Welcome to the
also not
wacky
sorry.
episode.
It's the whack episode.
Yeah.
Plateaus and whack.
Yeah.
So we can block ourselves by saying we're not going to do it, by, everything we talked about. That's one way we can block ourselves. Another way we can block ourselves is by repeating things. So let's say you're a songwriter. You did this piece, it worked out really well. You had this song that blew up, and now you're being asked to, and you're feeling the need to repeat that success. So you repeat the same idea, but when you do what you're doing in repeating this is, one, detracting from the first time you did it. Whether or not anyone else agrees, I personally think that when you try to repeat success, it just kind of detracts from the first one. Like, accept that the first one was a success, enjoy that, and then build on it, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to repeating it. Um, with that being said, like, you can block yourself from other creative avenues and other things you want to try by trying to repeat yourself. The next thing we were talking about is jealousy.
Jealousy, jealousy.
I'm so sick of myself. Rather be. Yeah, jealousy is a very talked about thing, and I feel like many people don't actually entirely understand it. I know that we struggle with it because it's like jealousy versus envy, and I should have looked up the definition. I did not, but my assumption is jealousy is more malicious and envy is just a feeling that you have sometimes. Because I don't think I'm like genuinely jealous of anybody, because I never have the experience of like, oh, I'm jealous, they don't deserve that, I do. Like, I'm not really one to put others down because I'm jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just like don't experience that, I guess. I do experience envy. Like, I can fully admit to that. Like, there's a lot of people that I'm so envious of, and I think that they're so beautiful and they're so talented and they're like doing what I want to do in any which way, shape, or form. But I don't feel any malicious anything towards them. I'm not mad at them. I don't have distaste for them. I don't have any feelings of malice or anger towards them. It's just like, I'm so happy for you. I hope that I can also get to something like that level of whatever. Or I hope like you guys inspire me. Like I almost turn it into inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you experience it?
I feel like I've like intentionally like studied the difference between jealousy and envy because I always like I just don't understand the difference, and to me the words are synonymous.
Like they're
Yeah.
so similar, yet there's some key difference.
I know that one of them is like you want what the other person has,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is like I don't know. I can't do it. I'm
Not you
sorry. I can't do
trying.
it. I can't
It's
do it.
funny. It's
To
fine.
me, jealousy and envy are the same thing. I know that they're not, but like I experience them the same way. And I think that like either can be, I think that it can be malicious if you don't like control it within yourself and recognize it for what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, check yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you can let that feeling take over you and like have like what is it like misdirected anger basically
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
like you can be angry at another person for something that they have,
Mm-hmm.
but really what it is you're not listening to the things that you want for yourself. You don't believe that you can have that yourself.
Yeah. The way that she phrased it is that it's a tough love friend and a map that leads to you better understanding yourself. So like jealousy maps is where this is gonna go to at some point, but like you if you don't check yourself, it turns into a hateful and like almost like a hatred practice. Not actually that you hate this person, but like it's just the what she had explained was she wasn't jealous of other playwrights necessarily, but she would like follow them and watch their downfall. And she was so interested in their downfalls and their like failures until she became one. But what
Mm-hmm.
she learned in herself was that she wanted to produce and put out a play. That's why she was looking at all these people's failures. It's almost like a shame practice for yourself too, if you let it go that way, which I personally don't, I have never experienced that, so I don't entirely get it. To be perfectly honest, I don't think I've ever gone down that path where I just like hate someone because they have something I don't. I think I just like happy for them and hope for the same for myself
Mm.
and use them as like an inspiration point as opposed to like, oh, this person is so damn pretty.
Yeah.
It means that I'm not, because that's not how the universe works. There's a plethora of everything for everybody.
Yeah.
Like there's no you assuming and thinking that because someone else has it, you can't have it is incorrect.
Yeah.
That is not how that works.
I feel like I've experienced both, like definitely like have been in that vibe of like being jealous, envious, whatever it is, of someone, and like having that misdirected anger. But for me, the growth point also coincided with like the spiritual part of myself that's like having that energy in my inside myself, having that anger wasn't hurting anybody except myself.
Period.
And so
Period. Say that
like
again. No, literally say that again. For any so who if you weren't listening, listen.
having those feelings doesn't hurt anybody except yourself.
Period.
And so I was able to reframe it as instead of uh oh, there was a quote. I think it was just a random internet quote I saw somewhere, but it was like jealousy is admiration turned sour
Ooh.
or something like that. And I was like, that's exactly it. Like if you can allow yourself to feel it as like admiration and being happy that the other person is doing something that makes them happy rather than
And like feeling inspired by it or like
yeah.
yeah, turned sour. Ooh. Yeah, that's a fact.
Mhm.
And I know this is gonna sound so. I'm a Leo. I'm just gonna start with that. I'm a Leo with a Scorpio moon. I know there's been bitches out there who are extremely jealous of me for existing. Just like my existence is something that they're jealous of. I've been told many times that people are jealous of our adventures, and like I don't think they mean jealous. I hope they don't mean jealous, but I what I've learned in myself is I always assumed when someone said that, this is just like an aha moment for me. I always assumed they were saying that I was inspiring them in some way, but I'm now like, oh wait, maybe those aren't, maybe that's not really inspiration. Because like I see jealousy, or not jealousy, I see people who I guess I would be quote unquote jealous of as inspirational, like
Mm-hmm.
aspirational, like their aspiration turns sour. That's the quote, right?
Admiration, I think.
Admiration. Thank you.
Yeah.
People I admire who inspire me, and like I just don't let it get there
Mm-hmm.
because like not even that I don't let it, I just don't think I experience that in the way that many others do. Because why would me being mad at them for something they have and me also not communicating this to them, how does that do anything?
It doesn't make anything better
It
at
doesn't
all.
know. It just makes you feel like you have less.
Mm-hmm.
So let go of
It's
that
it's
control,
one of
baby.
those like kind of self-destructive mental patterns that you have to be able to recognize and work through and
Mm-hmm.
reframe,
Or just don't
identify
have.
it, identify it when it happens and
Yes.
reframe it. Because for me, it was like an active reframing process instead of being
Mm,
like, you know, having this silent anger towards someone that's completely misdirected. I was able to
yeah.
be like, wow, like I'm happy for them
Yeah.
and I want to do something similar too.
Yeah.
And it's also, it ties back to the thing of like, there's enough in the pot for everybody.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
your success is not going to take away from my chance
Yeah.
to do it.
Absolutely. Pure. I had to switch hands. I can't snap with my left hand.
Yeah.
Um, with
But that's, yeah,
that's
it's,
actually a good segue into like jealousy strips us of the ability to act. When you're jealous and you choose not to like counteract that or like work through that, then you're basically telling yourself you can't do this other thing that this person's doing or
yeah.
have what this person has or etc. etc. Something that she recommends doing and also an exercise that we had was a jealousy map. I freaking loved this thing. Even though I didn't really feel jealous of any of the people that I put down, I was like the people that I feel envious of or that I guess I kind of admire with like a twinge of like harumph, like good for you. I wish I had the same thing. You're killing it. I hope I can do the same and I want to do the same. But then I kind of just like don't let myself feel any more than that. No anger. Like I know I could go there if I really wanted to, I guess. But I think that'd be active. Like I'd have to actively try,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And you already know it's not helpful, so
Exactly. So
there's no
like
point.
there's no point. But I made this map and like I didn't have too many people on it. I'd say like less than 10, maybe like 5. I think it was 6. And then I added one later. And basically someone came up in my mind at a different point in my morning pages after I had done this exercise and I immediately wrote it all out. And that was really helpful. The way you do it is you write down the name of the person you're jealous of. You write down every single why you feel jealous, or for me, envy, or whatever the fucking thing is. Um, Write down everything you're experiencing when you think of that person, like why you feel these things, and then the action step, the action antidote. So what? Let's say, like for me, one of the people is a YouTuber, and they're super super chill and calm and they're so beautiful and they travel and they like sex positive and they're so in tune with themselves and they're just this like gorgeous human being. This is someone who like I admire so much. And so as I was writing about her, I was like, what is the action potential? Like what is the action antidote here? And I kind of narrowed it down to like being myself more. She's so authentically herself. That's what I love. Is she's like without question she is herself no matter what. She owns it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing I wrote down basically is like identify things that I want to do and do them basically. So that's what came up. And I probably could have used the barista example cuz there's 3 baristas on my on my list. There's 3 baristas who are also artists and I'm like I want to be a
I
barista
want
and
that.
also an artist and also have fun with my hair and have fun with my tattoos and adorn my body and like just have fun and like be present. Almost all of them were just like be yourself.
Mm-hmm. I also did the jealousy map. It took me a minute to think of people because like there aren't any people like immediately in my personal life that I'm jealous of. And I'm also really not on social media much, so like I just don't really even
There's no
give
influencers you can be like jealous or envious of,
yeah,
really.
I don't even really give myself the opportunity for that.
Mhm.
And my relationship with feelings of jealousy is pretty good at this point to where like I said before, like I'm able to recognize it and um not let it turn into the sour thing that it can be.
Mhm.
Um so my list was pretty short. I think what I gained from it though is that like my relationship with jealousy is pretty good at this point because the people I wrote down and the actions that I wrote as a result are all things that I'm already actively doing.
Mhm.
So that just tells me that I'm going in the right direction and that I am doing the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
I haven't had any like major life transforming revelations about any of these things, which like on one hand it's like, oh man, like I'm not like I'm missing something, I guess, but on the other hand it's just like affirming that like I'm already doing the shit.
You're like 2 steps ahead.
I don't know if you want to talk about the archaeology exercises.
Absolutely.
You do? Okay.
Absolutely, we should.
The first part of it was completing the phrases about like as you like as a kid you needed like as a kid I lacked blank, as a kid I wanted blank, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And the second part was the like more positive side of like I think I have nice blank, I believe I'm getting it better at blank.
Yeah.
So what was your experience with doing that?
I loved the exercise because it helped me realize like a key thing that I I knew but I never voiced. If that makes sense. Like I knew growing up I needed more support and more like I needed my family to be more willing to help me when I was being neurodivergent. I had a lot of sensitivity issues and instead of them being taken seriously, they were made fun of. A lot of things I needed that I didn't get stemmed from that. And the second part of it, I feel like wasn't all that. The like, I have nice this, I can have a loyal friend in this, like that wasn't all that for me. That's
Mm-hmm.
stuff I already know, and like I'm very affirmed by talking about the things I didn't have and lack does not change what I have now. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's something that she did as a protective mechanism for those who might not be able to like stay positive in those other moments.
Yeah, I feel like she had the two next to each other to like not so you don't like spiral.
Spiral. Which is it'd be easy to spiral. I could totally imagine that for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I look at that as very like freeing. It's
Mm-hmm.
very freeing to be like, oh, that's what I needed.
Yeah. Um, my experience with the first part was that I realized you mentioned this earlier, but I had the realization that like the box that I was put into meant that I didn't know there were other options other than what was like presented to me or what I was like encouraged to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's again like I really don't blame my parents for anything involving this. I think it was for me like my young child's like sense of safety was like here are the things that are like okay for you to do, and I never even really considered like branching beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the activities I did in school were things that I was encouraged to do slash things that my sister had already done. Um, so like doing all of the like nerdy clubs, like honor society and stuff, and
That's not nerdy.
well,
I
all of the
did
smart
that.
kids do it. And it's just literally just a piece on your resume.
Yeah,
Honor society was such a stupid club. Anyway,
it was. Hot take. Actually, not even a hot take. Everyone agrees.
yeah,
You should still do it though if you can. It's like maybe 10 minutes of your energy a month in high school for me.
I thought it was silly and stupid.
It felt pretty silly.
Anyway, doing that and like I did the same sports as my sister with the exception of like I did swimming, which was my own thing, but it was because like my dad had encouraged me to do it and then I enjoyed it. But like now in this process of like opening up my inner artist and like learning more about where my curiosities are, I realized that like I wasn't really like I didn't know that it was an option to like be a band kid or be a theater kid. It was just like I don't know, it was just like expectations of me that I didn't really have a second thought about. It was just like, okay, these are the things that I'm doing.
Mhm.
And I never opened myself up to like, oh, like that seems cool. Like maybe I could do that. Like it was just, it was never even a conversation that happened in my head. It was just like, here's what I'm doing. Yeah. Now it's like, I thought about like looking at like what middle schools and high schools offer as like different classes and things because like
Yeah.
I never even really like thought about like looking into, oh, I would have been interested in this,
You
like
should.
yeah.
Yeah, that might help you understand more about what you would have been interested as a kid.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or like even like if I had been shown like here's all of these different instruments that you could learn to play, which one interests you, and like I was kind of given that but I wasn't. It was
I
just
wonder
like
if Ashland High School slash middle school slash elementary schools were just like so hippie.
yes they were, I can already tell you that.
Because like I never had this problem. Like the teachers literally in class would be like, "Here's all the sports that are options. Would you like to participate in any of them? Here's all the instruments that are available." Like we had a tour of all the clubs basically in middle school and high school.
Mm,
So you were forced with all the options. It was just a matter if you wanted to do them. You didn't have that. That's not normal.
mm-mm.
I'm biased. Don't listen to me. Do listen to me. If you're a principal of a school and you just happen to be listening to this because you're on your own adventure, please take what we're saying and implement it into your educational system's curriculum because I think everyone deserves to know what they have options to do. And for those kids who do have controlling, not saying this is you necessarily, those kids who do have very controlling parents or don't feel like they have the ability to like do what they want, it's a really great opportunity to show them that option and like be like, you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something that's just nice to know in general because I feel like we grow up not having a ton of choice. Even though we do have choice theoretically, like we also don't because like what can our family afford? What fits in with our culture? What's the cool kid doing? What's the not cool kids doing?
Exactly.
And I did band and rowing and was not considered a cool kid or a not cool kid. I was just popular because I was nice and hot, apparently. Mostly because I was nice, though, I think. Ding, ding. Homecoming Queen who? So, next up is our check in tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did. So, my epiphany that I talked about at the beginning of this very long episode was because of the tasks. Um, I realized that I was like not thinking of them correctly. So when I read wear your favorite item of clothing for no special occasion, I heard wear fancy clothing for no specific reason in your wardrobe. And I was like, well, that's not here. I barely even have one of those anymore. And then realized like, oh wait, I have favorite clothing that I like to wear that I can wear.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like my epiphany. But the
Yeah.
tasks we did, um, I did. I guess we didn't actually officially do this. I tried to make this phrase a mantra. Treating myself like a precious object will make me strong.
Yeah.
We didn't write it down, but I was thinking about it and tried to look at it once a day, which was like 50-50.
Yeah. I want to do like a little like um digital art moment.
Ooh,
I'd
you
make like a
should add it to
background.
your little thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have all my creative stuff on my iPad.
Yeah, you
So I was
should.
gonna make one and add it to that. I feel like there's a few tasks from this week that I want to put a pin in and come back to later.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do the collage, but I really want to do that at some point.
Yeah.
I love collaging. We just like we have not
We don't
had the
have magazines.
we don't have the
We don't know
resources
where
for
to
that.
find them. And I know that's silly, but we looked at the grocery stores and the only magazine they had was like a food one, and food is great, but not an entire collage of food.
Yeah, I also couldn't bring myself to like buy a magazine because they're usually more expensive than you expect.
True.
Um,
I like getting them secondhand.
yeah,
Um, the second one was give yourself time out to listen to one side of an album just for joy. You can doodle as you listen, allowing yourself to draw shapes, emotions, thoughts you hear in the music. So I started this by listening to the entirety of the Bon Iver for Emma album while we were painting the stairs, and then the entirety of Zappa by Glass Animals. That was great, very calming. It is very meditative for me to listen to music. As of someone who did music for so long, it's just like it's so grounding, which is hilarious because it's actively vibration. But something about that vibration is grounding. I wonder if it's. We're not going down that road. And then we did it again, and then we did it again. You kill that ant. While we were at the beach, and I listened to a lot of Life Itself. Not Life Itself. What's that album called?
how to how to be a human being.
How to Be a Human Being. I listened to a lot of that album by Glass Animals and just sketched something, and that was very fun because I did exactly what she said in the book, which is listen to your intuition, basically. So like whatever my intuition said, I just did it. I didn't question it. I just was like, okay, cool, let's do this line, and it turned out it's not done, but it's very pretty. I don't really get it, but it's pretty. Um, yeah. What about you?
I didn't do the album one.
Were there any of these other ones that you felt like you did? And also, I want to remind us that we don't have to do every single thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's okay to just do one.
yeah, I know that.
Yeah. I'm also reminding them, though. Whoever's listening to this.
There was one that was like buy yourself a wonderful, comforting something, and I realized that I did that today because I got myself hair oil,
I love
and
that.
that was kind of like
That's
uh
your thing.
quote unquote luxury item, but not
Yes.
really because my hair just dries out easily and gets frizzy and like
No, no. Accept it. Accept it. Like, yes, you need it, and also it was a self care thing because you don't technically have to do that.
yeah, I don't have to do that, but it is really nice.
Good. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad that you consider it that.
Yeah.
Next up is the morning pages artist date. You kind of talked about morning pages already. Do you have anything else you want to say about it?
Not really. Just feels like a plateau week with that.
Okay. I wish you luck for this week. Um, I'd say my morning pages were nothing crazy. I think um I've done a better job at waking up and going straight to the pages recently as opposed to like touching my phone, which is a bad habit of mine that I'm trying to break. So that's a nice reminder to be like, okay, self, I feel better when I just go straight to the pages, go do that. And I had some like a few epiphanies that I already discussed, but nothing crazy. But that was nice. Our artist date, we kind of had a few unintentionally. We kind of make every day is an artist date its way, own way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the intentional artist date was we went snorkeling on
A
what's the
few
island
days ago.
called?
Morden Island.
Morden Island in Tangalooma Bay, and the current was so fucking strong. It's supposed to be like a 35 minute like lazy river. You float around and you're having your snorkel. Mm-mm. 15 minutes full speed ahead. If you tried to like everyone was running into each other, you ran into the boat because it was a shipwreck, and it was just like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was so fun, but it was fucking crazy.
It was still a fun day, but I was still a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, babe.
I was really I tried really hard to be like it is like I mean it was what it was. It is what it is. But
The fish was really cool to swim through the fish. I did have a really good time. There was a few moments that I was like, this is awesome. And also I was kind of like, wow, I'm moving so fast right now.
yeah, even the guide was like, "I'm so sorry. It usually isn't like that. Like it's just the current is really crazy today." And like more than half of our group was just clinging onto the buoy.
There was four of us that weren't.
Yeah.
Maybe five of us, but like the two of us and someone we met while in Colorado. Shout out to Sydney. Sup. Um the three of us were like we're very strong swimmers and very comfortable, even though it was
Yeah.
a strong current.
So
And
we were
all of us
like,
were like diving and
yeah.
like doing our best to like get an idea of the situation, but they just did not give us time to explore. Which I was just that's what I was most disappointed. It's like, let me just like you guys can go ahead. I can catch up. With this current I can definitely catch up. I'm actually moving ahead of you more often than not. But let me just like hang out here and look for a shark. No sharks. It was probably too strong for most of the animals we were hoping to see to be out,
Mm-hmm.
other than the fish, which again was so cool.
No sharks,
We
no
swam through the fish.
turtles.
You kicked a fish on accident, right? Was that me?
I don't know. I kicked something, but
Probably a fish.
yeah.
Yeah. But that was one of our artist dates. I guess yesterday was our other one. Every
What
day
did
is
we
kind of an artist date.
What did we do yesterday?
We went to the beach and drew.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun.
We do a lot. And so it's like, I don't know. I feel like something that I talked about privately with you that we could bring up here is that I'd love to bring a little bit more intention and energy back to this because I think that's part of the reason why I was plateauing and might be part of the reason why you're plateauing is that the intention and energy hasn't like been 100% here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, um, synchronicities. I don't feel like we had any big ones or any of really. Do you feel like we have synchronicity other than mixing that paint perfectly? That was amazing.
I don't know if it's like I don't know if this counts as a synchronicity, but the thing that came to mind for me was just um, the the couple that's friends with your family friend
Mm-hmm.
um, invited us out to lunch, and we basically spent the whole day with them. But it was one of those like I guess perspective opening moments because like they took us to their house and like just seeing like how they live and like they're both artists in their own way,
Mm-hmm.
even though I don't think either of them would consider themselves to be
But they
artists.
absolutely are.
Like they have a lot of art around their entire house. Like a lot of it's like local artists, but then like one of them is a painter and the other one like
Makes sculptures and also works with bonsai.
yeah, works with bonsai trees and like I don't know, it was just cool to like see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. Yeah. That was really I don't know if I'd call that a synchronicity, but I do appreciate you bringing it up. Oh, a synchronicity would probably be talking meeting Sydney and also that man who was like, "What's your podcast? Here's my podcast."
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but they have a podcast.
It's not out yet,
It's
so
not
we
out
can't even
yet.
plug it.
It's going to be out in December. Thing about Joyful, joyful.org. I don't remember,
Hmm.
which I feel like that's got to be taken by something. But I just thought that was a bit of a synchronicity because Joy's my last name and soon to be your last name, and you know your blog is named after that. Just like a lot is happening within that, and that's very cool.
Hmm.
Thank you for listening and tuning in. We love you and appreciate you. And if you also had a plateau week, that's okay because you know what we're gonna gather up our stones and we're gonna think about how we want to put more intention into this next week and we're gonna do it and we're not gonna film on a Monday again because I do think it's the Monday whatever. We're not meant to work on Mondays. I don't like working on Mondays. Let's try doing this on a Sunday or a Tuesday.
Yeah.
See you next Tuesday. Y'all are great.
Bye.
Bye.